Hey there, Skeleton Key here. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm here to talk about, well, first of all, do my book report for week 22 of the year. And that's last week. I know Friday is not my usual time slot at all. But yeah, Monday and Tuesday, this week just has been jam-packed, and I'm still recovering from last Saturday. I went to the poetry rodeo, the 35th poetry rodeo in Denver, Colorado, and it was a lot of fun. I'm very glad I went, and I wish I'd been able to stay for the entire event, but it was a lot. There was a lot going on, lots of great poetry, lots of brilliant poets, lots of workshops. It was fun. I intend to go next year. Um, I was not anticipating that I would have to speechify. I had to speechify. So yeah, I was representing the Poetry Society of Colorado. Yay. And so yeah, I had to give a little speech about Poetry Society of Colorado and why everyone there should join. And if you're a poet in Colorado, you should join. But anyway, I did. I had a great time. It's just, oh my word. It was at the Mercury Cafe, and the food there is really good. I had lunch there, and yeah, that was good food. Um, but it was a wonderful event, and I highly recommend it. So, I mean, they've been doing it for 35 years. They've got it figured out. They know what they're doing. It's not Readers Take Denver, that's for sure. Um, but anyway, if you're watching this on replay, you can hop in the comments and say hi there and comment on books and stuff. And if you're watching me live, you can say hi in the comments in the live. So, and hopefully I will remember to look at the comments. I am still very, very tired. Like I said, still recovering from the poetry rodeo, but I've got a lot to get through tonight. But starting with the book report and then moving on to some just sort of a general May wrap up and how I did on some of the readathons that I attempted and some succeeded at, but for May. And then talk a little bit about looking forward to the things I've been reading in June so far. And yeah, I found a couple more reading challenges. Yay. So that's that. But anyway, yeah, say hi in the comments and keep me company and keep me awake. I will try not to fall asleep on you. But let's see, let me go ahead and share my screen. And we'll go over, I finished 6 books last week. And that's the week ending June 2nd, but these are all books that I finished at the end of May. And these are not in order. Goodreads jumbles the order, so I just kind of put them in what order I felt like. So anyway, this is one of the last books I read in May, and this is Z is for Zombie, an illustrated guide to the end of the world by Adam Troy Castro, and it has illustrations by Johnny Atomic, and really good illustrations, very gory and creepy, and fitting with the theme. And so I read this for Zombie-thon, Zombie Awareness Month, that Kat runs over at Kat's Novel Adventures, and also for Skeleton Keys, Mysterious Mayhem, and that I counted for the skeleton prompt, which was to read a book with an undead character, I had been planning to count Deathless Divide by Justina Ireland, which I am still listening to, but I did not finish it in time. It's kind of a long book, but I didn't finish it in time. So, and this was a short 56-page book. It's an illustrated guide to the end of the world. So it's an alphabet book. So it's, A is for, what is it? Does it say? Oh, I thought it said on here. Um, anyway, A is for apocalypse and B is for, I forget what the letters are for, but it basically takes you through a zombie apocalypse, letter by letter. And it put me a lot in mind of the How Not to Get Murdered in an English Murder Village. I forget the name of the book, but you got these illustrations, and of course, in that book, they were sort of gory style illustrations, and yeah, and just funny things about murder villages and tropes. And this, of course, is all about zombie tropes and the stuff in movies, and how to stay alive and what to do after you get zombified, and um, just all sorts of things. So it was a lot of fun. Um, and it's short. So, next year, if you're doing Zombie-thon and you're looking for something short and funny, yeah. So this was for the for Zombie-thon. I forget, and I don't have all the prompts listed out. I meant to print them out and I never did, and so I was just kind of winging it the entire thing. But there was one for either, like, a comedy zombie story, or a what you call it, a guidebook. And so this is both. And let's see, so yeah, I gave that one 4 stars. It was fun, it was cute. It definitely um wrapped up Zombie-thon very nicely. And let's see, what else do I have? Okay, so then also the second book that I read, for the key prompt for Skeleton Key's Mysterious Mayhem, was A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. And yeah, and of course, I'm tiny down in the corner. You can't really see it, but I keep showing this book all the time. This is my little paperback with the map. So the key prompt was to read a book with a map. So that was that. I liked it. I give it 3 stars. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little jaded. It's a magical boy goes to a magical school, and because he's just kind of a dumbass, he almost ends the world, um and decides, okay, I'm going to go find myself, and so he endeavors not to be quite so much of a dumbass. And so, well, this isn't a whole lot of a spoiler, but he finally comes to terms with the fact that, yeah, he almost ended the world by being a dumbass, and that kind of resolves things. But there's more to the story than that, and it is, I think if I had read this, say, 20-30 years ago, or longer, I probably would have really gotten a lot out of it, would have really enjoyed it. But it I don't know. At this stage in my life, I really, really don't. I'm not impressed by magical boys who go to magical schools anymore. I just, no. Uh, but the writing was really good, and I can see how this was. I know she probably denies it, but she who must be not be named, um, I would imagine she took a lot of inspiration from this book. Um, the writing in this book is better than in any of hers, so I will say that much. But was it action packed? There were action scenes. I would not call it action packed. There was a lot of time compression. I mean, it's not a long book. It's, this is a mass market paperback, and it's what, not even an inch thick. It's three-quarters of an inch thick, something like that. And, and it has lots of maps and stuff. So it's not a long book. There isn't it if it were action packed, there wouldn't be any story to it. And there is a story, and it it's a good message. Yeah, but it's a magical boy who goes to a magical school and almost ends the world by being a dumbass. That's the upshot of it. So, yeah, take that for whatever it's worth to you. I'm not gonna say it's a bad book. It just wasn't really what I was needing to read at this point in my life. Um, I would highly recommend it for younger readers. And also people who just like Ursula K. Le Guin's writing. Yeah, her writing is. I mean, I'm also slogging my way through The Dispossessed. I think I'm on year 6. It's up there with Great Expectations as far as how long it's probably going to take me to slog through it, because oh my god, it's I'll every now and then I'll see it on Audible, and I'll click on it and listen to half an hour or so and go, oh my god, this is still really boring, and I'll go listen to something else. So uh, but the quality of her writing is really good. Okay, so let's see. Then for the mysterious prompt for Mysterious Mayhem, that was The Fury by Alex Michaelides, and I already talked about that one at length. So not going to cover it here. And then for Mayhem, that prompt, Mysterious was to read a book with a character who uses an alias, and it's pretty clear in The Fury that the narrator has multiple names. So anyway, Mayhem, and that was to read a book with a trickster character, and so I read The Jumbies by Tracy Baptiste, and that was Caribbean folklore. This story is based, and it's a novel, middle grade fantasy novel, with some horror elements. You could make a case for this being a zombie book. There is a character who does get kind of sort of zombified. I don't know. I don't think it's really a whole lot of a stretch. It's like, yeah, that's pretty zombified. But it's not the classic zombie, so make of that what you will. But this was a children's horror story, and yeah, it wasn't set on any specific Caribbean island, but it was a very it was very much based on Haitian legends of Jumbies. But the Jumbies are sort of trickster characters. And so, yeah, I was really, really pleased to read something from a culture I wasn't familiar with, really. And yeah, I'd never heard of Jumbies before. And so our main character, Karen, she, gosh, there's a lot to this story, actually. It's really kind of hard to sum up, but she ends up having to pretty much save the day and save the village and everything. And but yeah, there's a Jumbie who kind of, oh gosh, that's a spoiler too. Um, yeah, I can't say a whole lot, but yeah, I really enjoyed this. This was fun. Um, yeah, it's kind of scary, but yeah, it's very creepy, and yeah, there's some serious stuff that goes down in this. So if you're for middle grade March, or I think some people do middle grade May. But yeah, if you're looking for some middle grade fantasy horror, that's not the usual. This is a really good one. And so that I did succeed at everything, maybe not as I had planned to, because I had planned to read a bunch of other things, but I ended up reading different books that fulfilled the prompts. And so I succeeded at Skeleton Key's Mysterious Mayhem. So, considering that was my readathon, I'm really happy that I succeeded at it. Let's see. What else? So, talked about. Oh, and also for Zombiethon. I forget what the prompt was, but yeah, this popped out at me on Audible. Mini mind controllers, fungi, bacteria, and other tiny zombie makers by Joan Axelrod Contrada. And this, I listened to it on Audible. I'm glad I didn't read a picture book, but listening to a book that was, I hope it was intended to be a picture book, and it was originally a picture book, and this was just the audio of it, of the text. But listening to that was really kind of weird and unsettling, because it was obvious we were supposed to be looking at pictures of things. So, although, just looking at the cover is hard enough for me. So I'm, for my own sake, I'm glad that I was not reading a picture book. Then it was just the descriptions of these animals that, they're parasites, that they basically zombify their animal hosts. And it's weird stuff. Most of it I was already aware of. There were a few new things in there, but it's like, and I can't unknow that now. But that's just my own personal squeamishness. So I would highly recommend this to uh, my friends. Who I have many friends who are very, very into bugs and creepy crawlies and spiders, and they will get a kick out of this, especially if they can find a picture book version instead of, because the audiobook, it was really a physically uncomfortable listen, because it was like it kept like repeating like chapter headings and things. It's just like, okay, and like captions of pictures. Like, oh, okay. So yeah, if you can find the picture book version of this, I think it would go much better for you. But yeah, I do recommend that for people who are into that stuff, or who need a quick zombie read. um, and then and this was for Genreland. The theme was medieval times, and I had been planning. I had a mystery novel that I was going to read for the medieval theme, and it had a medieval setting. And what was it? The Archbishop, something. The Archbishop. I think it was at a Frevis. No, I've forgotten what it was. Shroud for the Archbishop. That's it. I was planning to read that. And then I was reading Lapvona for Fucked Up Book Club. And I realized, oh, hey, this has a medieval setting. I can just read this. And I gave it what does he say? Oh, snakes. No, yeah, snakes. No legs. I'm cool with snakes. for the most part. I mean, oh, well, I have encountered, at least one rattlesnake in the wild, and I was like, "Oh, cool, that's a rattlesnake," and I, take a picture of it with Zoom, and it's like and wait for it to mosey along its way so I can proceed. Oh, earthworm. Earthworm. Eh, still better than things with too many legs. Um, I'm not a huge fan of earthworms, but I can deal with them. They don't make me run screaming from the room like spiders do, or pictures of spiders, or yeah, you know me. Um, but yeah, so I was reading Lapvona, and I gave it a lot of chances. I really did. Um, I mean, it was for the Effed Up Book Club, so I knew it was going to be, I knew it was going to be messed up. But it just kept getting the body horror and just the gruesomeness of medieval life, and not just medieval life, but certain aspects of medieval life and the violence and everything. As while it felt, and there was some of it that it's like, well, okay, that's probably pretty realistic. I mean, I'm not any expert on medieval life, so I couldn't say for sure. But I'm like, okay, that feels kind of realistic. It's you, but okay, fine. But then I just kept getting into stuff that was like for shock value. And I finally, and then I was reading some reviews, and it was explaining some stuff that I could expect later as far as like the body horror. And I was like, that's just no, I'm not here for that. And so I DNF'd it. And I really don't feel like I missed out on a whole lot. But then I was like, okay, now it's too late to read my mystery novel. So I need something really short. And I need a quick read for Genreland. And so I found this, and the idea behind this is um and this is for kids. It got a Newbery, I think. Yeah, it won a Newbery in 2008. Vermont Golden Dome Book Award nominee in 2009. So I don't know what that is, but yay. It's a series of monologues and a few duets, but dialogues, I suppose. Yeah, dialogue. That's the word. And it, I don't know. So it's, each, so the idea is that there are enough parts for a classroom full of children to each have a part, their own very own speaking part. And, some are shorter than others. So you can kind of, if you've got a student that really doesn't want to say a whole lot, you can give them a shorter one. And then there's, the dialogues, and but there are these like little snippets of life, and they're all interrelated. Well, I think most of them, maybe not all, but they're interrelated. And, some of the characters mention other characters, but it's the idea that these are all kids or teens in this medieval village, and they're just giving sort of snippets of their life and explaining what's going on in the village. And it's a really neat concept, and it was entertaining, it was informative. There are occasional interjections by a narrator, to give some additional background on something, and maybe some historical context as to what else is going on in the world, that sort of thing. So yeah, I would especially recommend this to someone who's, kids are interested um in medieval life. Maybe they're reading a book that's set in a medieval era, um and then this would give them a little bit more information on that. Or maybe they just watched a movie, or they're getting ready to watch a movie with that setting. And yeah, but yeah, it was entertaining. I I really enjoyed it. And then the final book I read last week was Chlorine by Jade Song. And so this was my second book that I finished for the Asian Readathon, and therefore the last book that I finished for the Asian Readathon. So I only finished two prompts, three if you count, double for read a book written by an Asian author. And let's see. Yeah, the prompts that I didn't get to were, so I read this for read a debut book, that prompt. And it's kind of an amazing debut. But I'll get to that in a minute. The two prompts that I did not finish were read a book that feels timeless and read an underrated book. So those will roll over to next year for me. And hopefully I will get them read. Okay, so Chlorine. Hmm. This this had a lot of body horror, but I felt like it really did serve the plot and served it well. Uh, and okay, so this was also for the Fucked Up Book Club, and it was really fucked up. But this I could actually get into, and um, I could understand. Basically, um, this girl, she's Chinese American, and it's a lot of it has to do with that, that model student concept that, they want that a lot of Asian immigrant families, they do want their children to be, the model students, and go on, get into medical school, make top grades, get into medical schools or law schools or whatever. I think it's usually medical schools that they tend to focus on. And anyway, she gets into swimming. Well, and it starts with like this book of mermaid tales that she's given as a child, and she gets obsessed. And when she's like 2 or 3, something like that, she gets obsessed with the concept of mermaids from a very young age. And then she starts swimming. She learns how to swim, and throughout her development, and she doesn't make friends easily. She's a very awkward individual pretty much all through school. And anyway, she's in high school, she's on the swim team. And or actually, is this high school yet? Because I think the real action of this story starts when she's still in middle school, because now I will warn you, there is a lot of menstruation in this book. Um, it's kind of key, and it's probably very symbolic of lots of things that I don't even really have the energy to think about. But anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of that, but she becomes increasingly obsessed with this. She's got one friend, and yeah, trying to think how to avoid spoilers, but I mean, it's probably not a if you're paying attention, you know what's going to happen, but I still don't want to spoil it for you, because it's better if you just figure it out as you go along. Um, but she's on the swim team, and coping with all of the challenges of puberty and first loves, and I mean, there's so much going on in this girl's life, and everything just really just pounds at her, and disordered eating, and for sports, um and just all sorts of body image things. There's a lot to unpack here, and I have not unpacked it yet. So it's probably not a good time for me to talk about it, but I gave it 3 stars mainly because I just had a lot of personal ick factors with this book. I understand why they were in the book. I understand why things were written like they were written. I really don't have any problems with the writing or the story or anything. It really squicked me out in a lot of ways. And yeah, this is a me thing. The 3 stars, that's on me. Um, if any of this sounded interesting to you, give it a shot. Maybe you can handle the body horror way better than I did. Probably can. So that's that. Um, and so that's Asian Readathon. Let's see. And kind of looking at May in general, I did have, let's see, highlights and lowlights. I have not calculated my like average star rating for the, again, I haven't even counted the books favorite. So I don't know, because all of the notebook that I use for keeping track of all those calculations and everything is over here under a stack of books. So I haven't got to that yet. So I'll just save that for the mid-year quarterly wrap up. And so I won't deal with that now, but where did I put it? Here. Yeah, so sort of a, highlight an immense world, how animal senses reveal the hidden realms around us. I think I talked about that one quite a bit already. It's nonfiction. I read it for the online nonfiction book club that I belong to. That's by Ed Yong. That's, 5-star book. I had 2 5-star books. So there was that one and The Mask of the Red Death Fine Art Edition, along, pair that with the Stefan Rudnicki narration. And that's just a massive gothic experience that, you gotta do that. If you can get a hold of the audiobook and the Fine Art Edition, illustrated by Stephen Archer, do that. If you have any interest in Poe or gothic horror or anything like that, do that. I can't even really describe it, but that just knocked my socks off. And then my 1-star, and I talked about that a lot last week, was Love Debugged, an enemies to lovers romance that is not an enemies to lovers romance, and it's just repetitive erotica with a bunch of questionable computerese pseudo, technobabble stuff that doesn't really make any sense. And there's supposedly an intrigue plot that didn't make any sense. Well, I guess it did because it was way too obvious. But it's not an enemies to lovers romance. It's a workplace romance. It's a employer-employee romance. Gosh, I used to work in HR, people, and just take it from me, don't date your coworkers, whether it's an employer-employee or a supervisor, supervisee, whatever. Just don't date your coworkers. It's hell on everybody. Everybody hates you. If you break up or have a fight, everyone suffers. It's just, please don't do it. Don't do it. Let's see. So that was my only 1-star for May. So yay on that. Let's see. Going back to Daphne du Maurier. I did not finish my Daphne du Maurier book. The Flight of the Falcon. I'm still working on that. I do want to. It's one of those books that I feel like I just need to take a slow, leisurely read. Taking my time with that one. So I guess I'll be, but I love Daphne du Maurier, so I'll probably be reading more throughout the year. All right, so now let's go to looking ahead a little bit to June. Let's see. Now, let's see. Last week I did my TBR for June on the Range. I have not started a single one of those yet. Also, Big Book Summer. I don't think I've started on any of those yet. I know, like, Children of Ruin is at the top of the list. Also, I think A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court by Mark Twain is also on the list for that. But yeah, I haven't started any of those yet. Seasons of Reading. Oh gosh, I don't think I have officially signed up for it yet. But anyway, it's at seasonsreading.blogspot.com. And this is a sci-fi summer readathon. It goes all month long in June. And the Sci-Fi June is the hashtag for that one. And I have started a few things. Children of Ruin is sci-fi. I am in a gothic mode right now, so I don't know what my next sci-fi will be. I mean, Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court is time travel, but I would call that more fantasy than sci-fi. So I don't know. And then let's see. Looking ahead, found a couple others. They just announced the 52 Book Club. She just announced their summer reading thing, and that is here, the 52 Book Club's website, which is the52book.club. And their summer reading challenge, and they have a journal and stickers and all that fun stuff. I don't do stickers, so yeah. And there are a lot of printables online, and so it's one of those kind of complicated ones. It goes all summer long. And I'm trying to think if it's how they define summer, because some of them define summer as like just the 3 months, June, July, and August. Others define it as being from like Memorial Day weekend through Labor Day weekend. I forget which one this is, but I'm sure I have it written down somewhere. So, but anyway, it's all based around the Olympics. The theme is Olympics. So, bronze medals and silver medals and gold medals. And let's see what else. But yeah, that looks to be a lot of fun. And roll your next read. And I printed it out. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. See if I can find it real quick, because I did print it out. Oh, and I keep forgetting about the historical fiction one. And that one is June only. And now I can't find Roll Your Next Read, but it's the book list, which is Lindsay at Lindsay's Little Library and Sarah at Sarah's Bookshelf? Sarah's Nightstand. I'm tired, folks. Sorry. But they do the book list every Thursday. And last year they started doing this Roll Your Next Read game, and you roll 6-sided dice, and there's a little chart. And I went ahead and rolled for the first one, and I meant to do a short, but I didn't. So you'll just have to take my word for it that it landed on 5 across and 1 down. So it's sort of like a bingo board, but it's 6 by 6 instead of 5 by 5. And anyway, so 5 over and 1 down. And and I love it because it's always fun, always makes me kind of think about, what I'm reading next. And and also justifies my hoard of dice. And um but that one was actually a blank. So this year they've got three, I think there were 3 blank squares that you could fill in your own, and I put in the word owl because I'm crazy about owls. I obviously love owls. And anyway, so I'm trying to decide, and if you have an opinion, please let me know. And yeah, I'm sorry. I just babble on and on and on. So feel free to jump in at any point with a comment. But I've got In Search of the Owl. And this is a father's death begins a quest for a deeper understanding of life. And so this is a memoir, and it's won several awards, I think. And so yeah, it has a lot to do. It's a memoir, but it also has a lot to do with father-daughter relationship and the natural world and owls. So, or at least one owl. I don't know. I haven't started it yet. And the other one, I really want to read that one, but this one has been on my TBR for very long. This is an arc of Brother to Dragons, Companion to Owls by Jane Linskold. And I got this at a Bubonicon in New Mexico, in Albuquerque, in 2006. I got this in 2006 or earlier. Actually, I may have gotten it before that, but no, 2006 sounds right. So I did start reading this at one point, and then I had to pack it for a move. And when it resurfaced, I was too busy with other things, so I haven't got back to it. It was really fascinating. So I feel like I really need to finish this one before I start In Search of the Owl. So I probably will read this as my next read. I'm also reading, let's see. Like I said, I'm in sort of a gothic mode. So I'm also reading the Book of Thorns and the Secrets of Heartwood Hall. So yeah, got those on the list for this week. And also what is it called? The Root of Ice and Salt? Ice and Salt. Oh, hang on. I gotta look that one up real quick because I feel like I'm getting that title completely wrong. No, it is The Root of Ice and Salt by Jose Luis Zarate, and translated by David Bowles. And that is a Dracula retelling. It's like his voyage. So it's a retelling of that. I don't know. It's not terribly long either, but that does sound really interesting. So I'm eager to get started on that. But that's pretty much where I am with everything for right now. And yeah, I should probably wrap this up and say goodnight before I pass out. But yeah, I'm glad I finally got this all out there, and I'll probably be back Monday or Tuesday next week to talk to you about Diavola, and that's the other gothic thing. I did finish that, but I'll talk about that next week because it's this week. Yeah. Um, and other gothic goodies and my owl book. And that is all for now. I will talk at you later. Thanks for hanging out with me.